So the other day I was watching a Dylan Gunn podcast with Shimmy and Trevor Fullbright, and they spoke about a topic that I found really interesting. It's something I've thought about a lot previously, but I was never able to verbalize, and they actually put it into words really well. Basically, it turns out where I was going wrong with not being able to verbalize it was I was trying to make things too complicated. They said it really simply, and it came down to the fact that if your leg day looks like this, you just don't know how to train yet. Now let's give it some context. If you are watching my channel and you're anything like me, then you're probably very familiar with the information-based, science-based content producers like Renaissance Periodization, Stronger by Science, 3D Muscle Journey, Revive Stronger, and all of those guys. They create fantastic information, evidence-based, science-based information. That's a lot of words, and it is thousands of hours worth completely for free. I personally have spent literally thousands of hours consuming their information, and it has made me learn so much as a coach. It has made me improve my coaching abilities, get better results for my clients and better results for myself. It's allowed me to understand programming, periodization, nutrition, all of that on a much deeper level than before I found out about these guys. But that being said, there's a difference between having the knowledge and actually applying it. Like I said, all of this information is free, so I can guarantee you I'm not the only one that has consumed those same thousands of hours worth of content. They've consumed all the same content as me, but they're stuck in a gap. And that is a gap that I call the knowledge application gap. There are people out there with huge amounts of knowledge around training, nutrition, and periodization. Yet their training and their arms still look like they did 3 years ago before they knew any of it. They know all about reps in reserve, auto-regulation, volume progression, deloading, everything. They know all about stimulus to fatigue, but they're still doing shitty deadlifts and rack pulls and all that crap. Why? Because they know why and what goes into training, but they don't know how to train properly yet. Email me, ashmaypt@gmail.com, or visit the top link in my description for more information on my online coaching services. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure to give the video a thumbs up. So the easiest way to explain this topic is to talk about leg day, because this gets fucked up massively. Leg day is always the biggest giveaway to whether you are stuck in this gap for me. I'm now going to talk to the camera like I'm talking to you and like you are stuck in this gap, because on a number basis, you probably are. But if you're not, then I apologize. Please forgive me. But anyway, you know all this amazing training information and you follow the big hitters on Instagram. You follow Dr. Mike Israel, Jared Feather, Steve Hall, Trevor Fullbright. You see them killing themselves on leg day, and this is super motivational. They will do something like 2 sets of crazy full ROM leg presses, then maybe 3 sets of deep high bar pause squats, and then some good ass lion leg curls. Another 3 sets. After they've done that, they are puking in buckets, they are shaking, they are questioning their life, and they can barely get off the floor. Total volume, 8 sets. You then go into the gym super inspired to go and get massive quads like them by training super hard. Because you know about putting together a good training plan, you go in and you start with leg presses. Down to auto-regulation, you do 4 sets. Then you do 3 sets of high bar squats, again auto-regulated volume. Still not got the maximal pump, so you do a couple sets of leg press, let's say 3. And then you superset these with body weight sissy squats, because you saw Trevor Fullbright doing it and it looked pretty cool. You then do 4 sets of laying hamstring curls to pre-fatigue your hamstrings for another 3 sets of stiff leg deadlifts on a Smith machine. Pretty tired after, but you can bend over and pick up your drink without too many issues. Walking up to the stairs to the change rooms is pretty rough, but overall, you're not too bad. Total volume, 21 sets. That is literally 13 more sets than the guys that you look up to, that you are essentially copying. You are way smaller than them and way less trashed. So what the hell is going on? You understand all of the information, you know all the words and the knowledge. You just can't seem to apply it. You understand all the information that those guys have straight up taught you. You're following a sample workout that they provided and then auto-regulating the volume for that workout based on information they have given you, what they are doing themselves. And you're pushing yourself super hard. So what isn't clicking? This is the prime example of being stuck in the knowledge application gap. And quite frankly, it's a pure example that you don't know how to train. Don't let this dishearten you though, because you still know more than all those people that go in and they don't know how to train and they don't know why the why behind things. He's still a fucking nerd though. So, by this point in the video, we have established that your leg days are crap, you don't know what you're doing, and you're stuck in the knowledge information gap. It's a pretty crappy situation, to be honest. But luckily, the way to get out of this gap is actually pretty simple. Notice I said simple and not easy, because it is not easy. It's very hard, but it is simple. Based on my own experience with myself and my clients, there is pretty much one or two main reasons why people get stuck here. And the most common one of those is why I was stuck there for years myself. It's a fear of doing less. In order to improve your leg days and your training in general, you need to become comfortable with the idea of doing less. You've built up these terrible habits when you didn't know how to train or how to program training, where you're doing 20 set leg days and you're doing 30 sets of arms per week. You aren't progressing doing this, and you know that none of this seems correct based on the knowledge you've learned. But you're already not progressing and you're scared to do less because what if you regress? I was doing all this fuckery in my own training whilst knowing so much better and telling all my clients to do what I knew I should be doing, but just wasn't doing it myself because of this fear. The thing is, you can't learn to train properly whilst also making these mistakes. You will never learn how to train properly and fuck yourself up with 2 sets of leg press if every time you go into the gym, you're telling yourself you have to do 4 sets. You need to have faith. You need to wipe the slate clean, deload, go in fresh, 2 sets only, just like you see all the big guys doing. What you'll notice to begin with is that you go into these sessions kind of nervous. You've never only done 2 sets of leg press before. 2 sets will surely not be enough to grow you. So you know you need to go into it and make those 2 sets as brutal, intense, as crazy difficult as possible. Bingo. You fucking done it. That is the exact fucking problem. You never should have been doing 4 sets when you couldn't do 2 sets that were effective alone. If you trust this and trust yourself, you'll be amazed what you can do with 2 sets per exercise when you are nervous about making both of those sets as stimulative as possible. But you'll never find that out if you never give yourself the option to only do 2 sets. So if we look back at the workout examples I gave previously, you'll see that the exercise selection was never the problem. It was the quantity of exercises and the amount of sets that was the issue. But now we've stripped that back. You've got 3 exercises in your entire leg day and only a couple of sets per to grow some big ass tree trunk legs. So how are you going to do it? Let's go through a checklist. The first one is going to be execution. Execution of an exercise is basically an umbrella term which includes everything from range of motion to mind muscle connection. You have to be doing the range of motion that gives you the biggest stimulus for the lowest fatigue. You have to be using technique that leverages the target muscle as poorly as possible. You must eliminate synergist interference. You have to be trying to engage in mind muscle connection. You have to be using slow, controlled eccentrics, maybe even a pause between each rep. All of this comes under execution. Next one is intent, and this is arguably part of execution because it's about how you go into a set. With leg day, everyone thinks they're training hard. In reality, barely anyone's training hard. Leg training is a completely different beast to upper body training. On a leg press, when you think you have 1 rep left, you actually have 5. On your leg extensions, you tell yourself you're at failure, but in reality, you're being a pussy because it hurts really bad and it burns. And with good mornings, you aren't anywhere near failure because all the load is going onto your lower back from your shitty control and technique. Nobody likes to hear this, but personally, as soon as I put my ego aside and listen to all of these things, my training improved just on a whole new level. And that's it. I thought there were more individual points to talk about, but it turns out that execution and intent pretty much sum it all up. If you can set your ego aside and apply everything that I've spoken about in this video, then I guarantee you can get out of that gap between application and knowledge. And then you too can feel absolutely terrible after leg day. You're welcome. One final word is that yes, of course, this won't apply to everyone, beginners, females with extremely high volume tolerances and so on. However, beginners aren't stuck in the knowledge application gap because they're beginners. Females with crazy high volume tolerances are badasses that I am personally scared of, so I wouldn't dare tell what to do. I genuinely hope this video doesn't piss you off and offend you because I want it to help people. Accept that you are a very intelligent, smart person. You just haven't fully learned how to apply it and train properly yet. But if you learn that, your results will just blow up. Email me, ashmaypt@gmail.com, for more information on my online coaching. You can also visit the top link in my description and apply for a space. Prices are going up very soon, so get in touch now before they do lock in that price forever. If you aren't already, subscribe to my channel, it helps. Leave a comment, say anything you like, but preferably something kind. Give the video a thumbs up, and until the next one, see you later guys.